So then, given that Thorpe Park has got so many awesome new changes and additions being made to the resort in the near future, with a new logo, a re-theme of an existing land to a new, more up-to-date theme, and a brand new record-breaking roller coaster, just to name a few, I thought, what's the point in waiting for these attractions to first open and then settle in when I can do my typical thing of talking about what I would do next if I owned Thorpe Park? But in all seriousness, I do need to say, just as a quick disclaimer, this is me literally saying what I would do to the resort in the future if I owned it after these investments. The park are doing incredible things as it is anyway, and opening some incredible new rides in the near to distant future, and I'm not trying to overshadow these opening yet because we've got some incredible things coming, so please don't take this as a dig at the resort or any way like that. This is just a video of me doing my typical thing of putting all the ideas that have been floating around my head into a video, which is a very dangerous thing at the best of times. So then, first up, I would take a look at the actual aspect of it being a resort, and I'm sure that a lot of people know what I'm going on about here, and that is to build a proper dedicated hotel. Now this is because, in my opinion, shipping containers do not count as a hotel, and although they're great because it's somewhere that you can stay on the resort, I think that a proper purpose-built hotel for this resort would make such a difference and would turn it into something which really is obviously a resort, and I think it would really solidify this park as sort of a trip that you can go to and stay at as more of a getaway destination more than a day trip. So that is something which I think the resort should really look into, as they've been making so many decisions to solidify their lineups. This would be perfect really for it, wouldn't it? After that, I would make the typical decision of something which I dislike, so I'm going to change it for everyone, and that is I would get rid of Ghost Train and replace it with something new. Now I've had an idea for this sort of show building where you've got both Ghost Train and The Walking Dead the ride, and I was thinking, given that these show buildings border each other anyway, and also considering that The Walking Dead is also one of the most criticised rides at the resort as well, and both of these rides have show buildings that are practically connected, wouldn't it be brilliant to bridge these two show buildings together, get rid of both of the ride systems within it, and replace it with a Dynamic Attractions SFX coaster, because that would be a cool way to bring one to the UK and would use this show building. Now this is one which would actually spark uproar, because as I'm sure a lot of you will know, The Walking Dead was initially X No Way Out, which was a very iconic ride for the resort, and a ride which holds a very sentimental place for both people. But I'm not sentimental enough to care, clearly, so that would be something which I think would be amazing. Not necessarily just an SFX coaster, but something new within that show building. Maybe you could still have The Walking Dead and change that with something new, but change maybe just the Ghost Train building to a trackless dark ride, like something like Symbolica or Efteling, is something which has been thrown around a lot. Now I know that's a very high caliber attraction to compare it to, but you could have a very well themed horror trackless dark ride, so it would still fit into sort of the horror dark scenes that you want to have with Ghost Train. Replace it with something like that. Now this should also be mentioned that replacing even just Ghost Train with a trackless dark ride would be a massive investment for the resort, so that is a dream of mine which is clearly very unrealistic, but it would be very cool, wouldn't it? So then, given that we're on the subject of new rides, I would also consider the area at the back of Swarm Island to have something new built there. Now this is something which I think this area of land, before we knew that Project Exodus, or now Hyperia, would be built where it was, I remember everyone was speculating, would we ever get a new ride on the back of Swarm Island, because it is a very large amount of space and things are stored there, so they clearly can use it for things. I'm sure if they put reinforcements into this island, essentially what you've got there, you can make it safe to build on and put rides on. Wouldn't it be amazing to have an additional coaster again added at that part of the resort, because it would mean we'd have even more rides at the park and wouldn't have to be taking away from attractions to put new ones in. And a ride which I think would look absolutely awesome on this island would be a Mack Rides Extreme Spinning Coaster, one with a launch preferably, a lot like Ride to Happiness. Now that's because the resort has got its sort of niches that you need to sort of market and have at a park. You've got a winged coaster, an inverted coaster, an inversion focused coaster which is Colossus, Soar is the horror coaster, and Stealth is the intense launch, and then Hyperia will be the height. You could have a spinning coaster, but in Thorpe Park style of building intense rides, one with inversions, and you wouldn't need to focus on the launches because you could leave that to Stealth. You would just have a ride which has got launches to get you to speed but don't need to be anything snappy, a ride with weird shaped wacky looking inversions like these extreme spinning coasters can do, because some of the elements on Ride to Happiness just look out of this world, so it would be awesome to have at Thorpe Park and would be something which I think would fit into that resort perfectly and really would just fit that skyline so well. Now something else that I do as well as this, which is a little bit, I guess, very personal of mine, but I think would be quite cool, would be add infrastructure infrastructure to the resort so they can host events like fireworks. Now, Thorpe Park has had fireworks in the past. I remember they did swarm teasers in a firework display, so they must have had fireworks in the past. This was before my time of knowing anything about theme parks, so please do, if you know more about this, let me know in the comments. But Alton Towers every year hosts fireworks because they've got the lawns, which is a very large amount of space, which is able to host a lot of the event centre for a lot of things. You've got the stage, which they use as entertainment, then you can put picnic benches and food stalls. And Thorpe Park has got similar outside Ghost Train, which is a small area where you have got food stalls and a stage where a lot of entertainment takes place. But I think that it's kind of two in the middle of things. You've got a lot going on around you. It's a main footpath that a lot of people use to get round the park. It's quite a central sort of area that is used to get around, so it's a bit too much in the way. And something that I think would be great would be adapt the beaches to work better as that area for the park. Now, this is one which I don't want to make out that I'm saying get rid of the beaches, because I don't think that's what you should do. I love having that at the park. It's it fits the island theme really, doesn't it? But wouldn't it be great if, given that you've technically got two, you've got the walkway down the middle, you've got one on the left and right, use the smaller area that you've got as a beach already, convert that as what you use all year, and then the other side where they've already removed the water slides, push that area all the way down to where they've also removed containment and now have a picnic area by depth charge. Have all of that as sort of maybe grass or some form of flooring where you can have picnic benches most of the year and a stage for entertainment, and then use that area where you can have people safely stand, and then you could always do fireworks past the back of the swarm and people could look out at it, a lot like Alton Towers does, which means that Thorpe Park could host a fireworks event, which if they did that, it would just be incredible. I'd love to see that at Thorpe Park so much, because I have to say that Thorpe Park is a resort which holds such a special place in my heart. It's the park I visit most and a park that I have a very sentimental place for, so I'd love to see something like that at the resort. So that is mainly an investment which I just want because I'd love to see fireworks at the resort, and I've probably annoyed a lot of people by saying I'll get rid of half of the beach. But yeah, please do let me know what you think you would do if you owned Thorpe Park and what you would change in the near future. This is literally just me speculating what I would do in the future if I owned Thorpe Park. Totally unique video idea, I am aware. I've clearly not stopped caring. But please do let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to know what you think. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.